More with Lisa's parents, Deborah Bradley and Jeremy Irwin. Here they tell of who they think abducted their daughter. Did you look outside? I mean, what's going on in your heads when you realize she's not there? You call 911. Do you think maybe she's outside? Who's the first person that comes to mind?
Nobody comes to mind. I ran outside. I went to the neighbors, woke them up. She wasn't there. Grabbed a flashlight. We ran all over the yard. She ran all over the house. There was nothing out of place. She wasn't there.
There are reports that someone noticed a man around 2 in the morning cradling a baby in his arms. Have you heard that, and do you know what came of that?
Nothing that we heard about it, but nothing that we know of so far. I mean, we haven't heard anything.
What about Jeremy? You gave several names to the police. Without getting into the names, and it doesn't matter. How did you pick the people's names to give to the police? Why did you think they might have something to do with baby Lisa's disappearance?
After everything calmed down a little bit and we sat down, just the two of us, and we started thinking of stuff, just anybody, any kind of clue, people that have been in the house recently, people that have been in the house a long time ago, people that have had miscarriages lately, people that have got divorces or cheating on their husband, or anything that might help us try to locate her.
Did you come up with names also, Debbie, of people? I mean, she was so beautiful. She is beautiful. You know, in the pictures that I've seen, I mean, you must have gone into supermarkets and people must have been stunned with her.
When I started to have thoughts, that was one of the thoughts that went through my head was, I mean, the drugstore, the grocery store, I mean, Target, we go to get things, you know, for the house and her, and I mean, everybody stops me, and she's beautiful, and she loves everybody, and she's really friendly, and she'll go to anyone, and she.
Any strange people in the neighborhood? I mean, other than this report of a man who cradling a baby, do you notice strange people coming through? You know, garbage people, mailmen, anybody paying undue attention, somebody walking their dog?
I mean, I spend a lot of time outside, and I'm always bringing her out, and you know, I lay a blanket out and we'll play on it, or I'll bring a toy out for her, or she's outside with the boys, and me and my neighbor sit outside a lot and hang out with the kids. And I mean, people walk by and they drive by, but I mean, that's the last thing you think. Yeah. I mean, you don't think people are watching you. I mean, or you know, planning anything. I mean, you don't. I mean, that it's a possibility.
Craig Hill is with the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children, and Steve Lane is a retired detective with the NYPD. Craig, I'm going to start with you. Who abducts a baby?
Well, Judge, in these types of cases, you'll usually have a female that either has recently lost a child or cannot have a child of their own. Sometimes you may have a caretaker who has fallen in love or cares about the child deeply. And sometimes these cases lead to a relative. But generally, you're going to find it will be someone who cannot have a child or has recently lost one. Okay, and Steve, what would be the motive for this kind of abduction?
Person's attachment, person, you know, wanting the child, as was said, that is unable to have a child of their own and feels this void. They want to fill this void.
But isn't it unusual, Craig, to go into a private home as opposed to a hospital setting? I mean, actually break into a home or go through an open window, we don't know the truth yet, and take a baby. That's a lot different from taking it from like an institutional setting.
Well, that's true, but you have to understand in the overall statistics, and there's only been 278 of these cases reported since 1993. Of that, 46% were taken from healthcare or hospital settings, and 40% of those were taken from homes. The remaining 14 were taken for other circumstances.
But
so
what
it's
we know,
odd,
Craig,
but it
Craig,
does
what we
happen.
know, and I'm coming up against a hard break, what we know is that the baby was taken from a home. The person to go into that home would have to be someone who knew the home, knew the baby, knows the parents, yes?
Not necessarily. In Franklin County, Missouri, we had a young lady that answered the front door, was attacked, and her baby taken from inside the house. The person arrested for that crime was a female who lived 40 miles from there, who happened to see a sign in the front yard that said, "New baby girl."
Well,
that was the reason that child was taken. So the circumstances differ each case.
Right. But obviously they knew that there was a baby there. Anyway, Craig, thank you so much. Detective Lane, thank you so much for being with us. And